Welcome to the Complete Story series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. Today, we're going to be covering the new Miles Morales origin. Not where he got his powers from, but what drove him to become a superhero. I'll tell you my thoughts about this story after we're done telling it to you, so enjoy. As Spider-Man is thrown through a generator, a voice tells him that he's going to need him to save some of that spider blood. There's a use for it. Spider-Man gets back up, and the living vampire Morbius goes on telling him, "You really should have called Blade. He would have warned you not to get involved." Spider-Man struggles, telling him, "I don't have Blade's number memorized yet." But there is one question I would like answered. Do you intentionally dress like you're going to a carnival, or is it just hard to find clothes that fit when you're that ugly? Morbius spins Spider-Man down, opening up his mouth, telling him, "Hold still, boy, this'll hurt a little." However, this isn't the beginning of our story. It all started years ago, a little after one of Miles' birthdays. As Miles and his uncle Aaron sit down to grab a bite to eat at a fast food place, Aaron says, "Happy birthday. Sorry, it's a few weeks late. I got busy doing things." Miles opens up the envelope that Aaron gave him and pulls out a small stack of money, stating that this is $500. Aaron tells him to put it away. Never count a gift in front of a person that gave it to you. It's bad form. Go on and spend it on yourself or a girl or two girls. Live it up a little. Miles asks where did he get the money, and Aaron says that it doesn't matter where it came from, but it does come with some advice. Being in Brooklyn Visions, your parents want the best for you. But don't ever think that you're like any of those other kids. You're not. You don't have their advantages. You can't take their risks. You can't have their dreams. Miles says that it's not that kind of school. He doesn't really get what he's trying to say. Aaron says, "Look, a lot of those kids around us, and that cash I handed you is nothing compared to what they've got. The only responsibility that you have is to your own power. Put yourself first and keep yourself there. Life isn't kind to heroes. You need to look out for yourself because no one else will. This damn world is broken down to its center. Anyone who teaches you that you can change it is either a liar or a fool." As Aaron gets up to leave, he gives Miles one last piece of advice. Whatever that school is selling, don't buy it. Also, don't tell your parents where that money came from. It's our little secret. Be good, yeah? Miles looks back at the money, telling him, "Yeah, I will." Later, back at school, Miles and Genki watch the news about how the Avengers saved the world from yet another crisis. Genki tells Miles that he could do something like that. Like, who would win, him or Dr. Doom? And Miles tells him that Dr. Doom would, and Genki says, "Yeah, but by how much? Would you completely kick his butt?" But then another voice from behind says that it looks like the world is coming apart. Good thing the Avengers are here to put things back together, huh? Brent, another student, one of Miles' friends, walks up and Miles says that he's sorry that he didn't get back to him about the student mentor thing. Been a little busy, right? Brent pulls Miles aside, telling him, "Look, I know Mr. Hamilton's whole student mentor thing is weird, and we both know that you're 3 times smarter than me." Miles tells him that he was the one who won the New Visions Creativity Prize last year. Brent left saying, "Yeah, I won that because my mother was on the board." Brent looks at Miles and asks if everything's okay. He's looking a little down. And Miles says that it's just so much is happening everywhere. He can't shake the feeling that it's all about to get worse. The two sit down and Brent says, "Well, that's why you're here at this school. You learn about these things so that we can make the world a better place." And Miles tells him, "Yeah, about that. I only got here because of a lottery. Other kids got here because they worked for it. It doesn't feel right or fair." Brent tells him that his mother, who despite her is sometimes right, says, "When you get something you don't think you deserve, you have to work to earn it." And something else that I just learned was that it was your birthday, so I got you something. Brent holds out 2 tickets, telling him that Hypeware got a new pop-up store. Limited edition kicks and gear. You and Genki have tickets to the pre-opening. Miles asks, "Wasn't that like sold out in like 5 minutes?" And Brent says that, "I have a cousin who directs music videos. Everyone in my family is cooler than me." Miles says that he appreciates it, but that's not really a scene. He should take them. Brent says, "Okay, real talk. My sister Olivia just transferred from the other school, and she's in your class and doesn't know anyone. It's a little awkward, and you'd be helping me out." Miles tells him, "Fine, I'll go. I got a little birthday money to spend anyway." Later that night in Soho, Miles and Genki meet up with Brent and his sister Olivia, who does not look as awkward as Brent described. More like really super attractive. Brent says, "Oh hey, Genki, we should go look at some of those snapbacks. You two be good now." As Brent walks away, Olivia asks if he's trying to set them up, and Miles says maybe. He's sorry about that. Olivia stops him, stating that she keeps to herself and he worries. He's got the charm in the family, and she's got the common sense. Olivia then takes off one of the jackets on the display, stating that he's a medium, right? He should get this. The hood zips up all the way and everything. Meanwhile, over at the corner, Brent asks Genki how's he doing. And Genki says that she's dressing him, don't look. And don't tell Miles he asked to hook them up. While Olivia begins to put the jacket on, she says, "Bam! Now you're ready to spend $250 to express your individuality by looking like everyone else in Manhattan." Miles asks if that's a good thing, and Olivia says that it is what it is. But those shoes, they're a mess. Before Miles could say anything, a spider sense goes off, and Miles pushes Olivia out of the way as a small spacecraft bursts through the walls of the store. Shortly after that, a Skrull, dressed as an officer, steps in, and Miles runs over to Genki to make sure that he's alright. Genki tells him that he's gotta help them, please! Miles gets back up stating to go find Brent and Olivia, tell them to stay down. Miles then grabs a pair of goggles off of a mannequin, and he begins zipping off the jacket, putting the goggles on, calling out to the Skrull, stating that he can't let him hurt anyone here. The Skrull swings at him, and Miles runs and jumps, kicking the Skrull out of the building with both feet. The Skrull gets back up, charging towards Miles, but Miles jumps up and over, stating that this better work, and he shocks the Skrull in the back of the head. But as he does, a voice calls out asking if everyone's okay. Miles looks up to see Peter Parker, Spider-Man, shouting, "Yes!" I have no idea what's going on, but there are people inside. This cop, or whatever he is. Peter puts his arm on Miles' shoulder, telling him that it's alright. There's no need to fear. All he has to do is, Peter starts to take off his mask, but underneath is another Skrull, and he tells him, embrace change. The Spider-Man Skrull picks Miles up by the neck, throwing him into a building. The Skrull then turns back, grabbing Genki, telling him that there's no need to fear, his love is coming. Miles jumps back down, but before he can attack, the Skrull grabs him, telling him, fine, I'll make an example out of you instead. Miles begins to think back to what his uncle told him about how, if anyone told him that he could change the world, they were either a liar or a fool. Miles gets back up, stating that he can't do this! And just then Thor shoots through the sky, destroying the Skrull ship, and Miles tells himself, maybe he can. There's just one of them now. If I don't do something, he's gonna kill my friends. I can't do this, but Spider-Man can. He calls out to the Spider-Man Skrull, telling him, hey, if you don't have a ticket, you gotta get in the back of the line. The Skrull leaps into attack, and Miles fights back, beating into the Skrull. After a few good punches, Miles grabs the guardrail, wrapping it around the Skrull, telling him, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna need to work on my smack talking. He runs back to the store to check on everyone, and when he gets there, he sees Olivia holding Brent's lifeless body. Miles asks if he's okay, and Olivia shouts that he's dead. Whoever you are, just go! Please, go! A few days later, the service is held for Brent, but before the casket is lowered, Miles tells Olivia that he's sorry he didn't know. Olivia hugs him and walks off, stating that he doesn't have to be sorry. What could he have done? As Miles stands there alone, he thinks to himself that he could have done something. Later that day, Miles heads over to his Uncle Aaron's apartment, handing back the birthday money, stating that he was wrong. It does matter where he got it. At least it matters to him. Aaron tells him to watch himself out there. He sees one of these things coming, run the other way. Miles looks back, telling him, see you around. Be good, okay? But back in the present, Miles shocks Morbius off of himself, stating that he's not a bad guy. The world hurt him and he gave up on it. Life makes that an easy thing to do. Miles begins to web up Morbius, telling him that even still, it's not the right thing to do. Morbius asks him, who the hell are you to tell me what right and wrong is? And Miles tells him that he's the kid who spends his birthday sending him to the vampire prison. See you later, Doc. Morbius tells him that he can smell the doubt on him. He's just a scared child in a mask. And Miles waves, telling him, yep. Miles begins to web away, thinking that sometimes he will fail. Sometimes he can't help everybody. He can't make the world fair, and when it breaks, he can't put all the pieces back together. But a hero isn't one who always wins. They are the ones who always try. Tonight, he's trying for Brent, because this is the night that he remembers that he couldn't save him. He's not an Avenger, he's not Thor, or Cap, or Peter. He's just a kid in a mask doing the best that he can. He will never give up on the world, or anyone that needs him. His name is Miles Morales, and he is Spider-Man. And there you go. Miles Morales has a new story in which Brent died and basically gave him a reason to become a superhero, and that makes no sense. The original storyline of how Miles decided he was going to become a superhero is because Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe died and inspired him to become the new Spider-Man. Now, I understand with Brian Michael Bendis gone from Marvel, and I understand that due to the fact the Ultimate Universe doesn't exist anymore, that Miles Morales' origin is getting more and more convoluted, and they wanted to clean it up due to the fact that he's in the movie coming out at the end of this year. But seriously? They could have done so many things with this to give him that drive, to give him that reason to become a superhero. Heck, Brent could have even worked if it was a part of like a mini series where we got to know Brent. They gave us one issue and that made Miles become a superhero. It doesn't work in my opinion. But once again, that is just my opinion. So let me know in the comments down below if you feel that this is worthy of giving Miles Morales the reason to become Spider-Man. And don't forget, you can also find us over on patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you can find like 6 or 7 different podcasts, early access to a bunch of our videos, bloopers, and all kinds of stuff. We consider it an extra thing to our YouTube channel, Comicstorian first. All of the stuff we do on Twitch and YouTube all ends up there, allowing you to get early access to as much stuff as we can give you. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time right here.